this is the Provoked Prawn, here to compare the SteelSeries Nova Pro wireless with the Audeze Maxwell. Now these are two fantastic flagship headsets that are well worth considering for different reasons. I want to talk to you about my experiences with them and why they're fantastic and why they're very comparable. You'll see from these various shots that they're similar in some ways and different in others. The SteelSeries Nova Pro wireless is available in white and black, for example, and I'm going to show you a few different shots of that as we go through, but they're basically the same model. And then the Maxwell is larger with bigger drivers, bigger ear cushions, and perhaps a bigger fit on the head, so perfect for those with larger heads. What you'll see is that both of these are also multi-device compatible, having Bluetooth and wireless connectivity options, as well as a 3.5mm jack that you can use on console or on other devices. And I want to talk to you about why the SteelSeries Nova Pro wireless is a bit more flexible and more compatible with various different things, including having the ability to have a dual connectivity so you can have wireless and Bluetooth at the same time, which is sadly something that Maxwell cannot do. They are, however, both interesting, with the Maxwell punching really hard in terms of the audio, delivering a really good audio and very loud sound. The fit is slightly different as well. You'll see the Nova Pro wireless is a little bit smaller, with smaller ear cushions and a smaller design, but it also has a retractable microphone and this floating headband design, which make it comfortable to wear and easy to use for hours and hours. The Nova Pro wireless has been my favorite for quite some time and my daily driver. The Maxwell is more comfortable in some ways, especially if you've got a bigger head and bigger ears. It has a removable microphone and interesting highlights including multi-device control, EQ profiles, and as I said, those really large drivers which deliver really fantastic sound when gaming and listening to music. And you'll see it also uses a floating headband, but it does have more padding on the top of the headband at the very top there. So it is remarkably comfortable and uses passive noise cancellation with deep plush ear cushions to block out external noise. In terms of gaming performance, the Maxwell delivers some really good sound with great positional audio and EQ profiles tuned specifically for competition gaming and for things like footsteps. This means that you can use it in games like Escape from Tarkov and here where the enemies are really easily, and it gives you a good soundscape for that and really great profiles. It doesn't have as much flexibility, I don't think, as the Nova Pro wireless, which allows you to have multiple controls and tuned EQ profiles within the SteelSeries Sonar, but it does still deliver great audio. Now, I really like the Nova Pro wireless because of the bass delivery and the audio and the uses in a variety of games as well as listening to music and movies. I've found it to be great all-rounder with great sound, great comfort, and great features that make it fantastic. Let's take a look at the Maxwell though for now with the connectivity options on this headset. Now this is the Xbox and PC version. You can also get a PlayStation one, which comes with a USB-C dongle with a switch to switch between the two different modes, allowing you to connect to different devices. This is a tiny dongle which allows you to connect pretty easily and will automatically be recognized when the headset's powered on and when this is plugged in. It doesn't have the same range as the Nova Pro wireless, though I do find that the wireless range drops out a bit faster when moving into other rooms. It comes with a small USB-C charging cable, which isn't amazing, but it does have fast charging capabilities and up to 80 hours of battery life, which means it lasts and lasts. There's also an adapter included in the box, so you can plug that USB-C cable into it and then use a USB-A port instead if you don't have a spare USB-C port on your PC, or you could plug the dongle into that as an alternative. You also have a small 3.5mm cable, which you can use to plug into a controller, for example, or other devices, and then the removable microphone. I'll do a mic test later on in the video so you can hear the difference between the two microphones, and they are quite customizable either within the software or the hardware. This one, for example, with the Maxwell has AI noise cancellation in various different levels, which makes quite a difference to the audio that you get from the microphone, which is going to be hit and miss depending on your environment. Now, with a 3.5mm connection, you can plug the device into other things. So, for example, I'm using the Rodecaster Duo here to plug in and monitor the microphone that way. And using this allows for dual connectivity in that you can have wireless or Bluetooth and the 3.5mm audio at the same time. This is handy, but it does mean that you're turning a wireless headset into a wired one, which is obviously not ideal. But if you do want to do that, if you want to plug in another device via the 3.5mm connection, you can do that. So that's obviously beneficial and a handy thing. The multi-device capabilities of this headset are good. Obviously, having that flexibility to use it on something like this or with some other 3.5mm device, or to be able to use it on console and PC, or to have it with a Bluetooth connectivity, gives you options. Obviously, the wireless dongle will give you the lowest latency, though. The other thing this headset has is virtual channels for game and chat. So you'll see in Windows, for example, you have 2 different channels for that you can use with Discord, which means that you could pull them into something like OBS or Streamlabs and record them separately, which can have its own uses. Now, the headset also features Bluetooth connectivity, so you can connect it up to your phone or other device. This is actually quite intelligent and uses Bluetooth 5.3, which is low energy connection, so it doesn't chew through your battery life, but it also gives you easier controls and other highlights like high resolution 24-bit 96 kilohertz audio with LC3 Plus, LE audio and LDAC compatibility. So it gives you some interesting connectivity options there and the ability to listen to high quality music as well. So you can do that nice and easily. And as you'll see, when you connect the phone, it automatically recognizes the Maxwell and suggests downloading the app. So there's a companion app on your phone, which you can then use to tweak various settings, change between the different profiles, and more. This is not something you can do with a Nova Pro wireless, in that there's no companion app, but that does allow you to control still things via the headset and the base station. We'll get to that in a little while, but it does mean that you have easy access to the headset, and it also speaks to the quality of it because you don't often see that intelligent connection. This also gives you some really good audio and the ability to easily go between those various different EQ profiles. You can also control various things from the headset itself. So the 2 volume wheels, one which allows you to adjust the volume and one which allows you to change your balance between game and voice chat, for example, or multifunction. So if you push them in, you can change between the controls. You can pause and play and skip music. You can turn side tone with the microphone on and off, etc. So you've got some simple basic controls there. User experience isn't quite as straightforward though in terms of switching between modes. The dials are a little fiddly, and I find that it's just a little bit faffy compared with the Nova Pro wireless, which is a bit more user-friendly in terms of multi-device switching. And as I said, you can't use wireless and Bluetooth, unfortunately, with this headset at the same time, which is one downside to the design. Now, this is a really nice headset with a really premium feel to it and a really good quality. You have multiple buttons on there for multiple controls. Obviously, you've got multiple jacks. You can plug it in with a USB-C cable and charge it while also using it. There's also an easy access mic mute button on the side, as well as a button that allows you to turn the AI noise cancellation for the mic on and off or adjust between the various levels. And you have this button to dial between game audio and chat, which can be handy. Now onto the Nova Pro wireless, which as you'll see out of the box comes with multiple different cables and connectivity options. It has a little control box, which makes it quite a bit different to the Maxwell, and on there you'll see there are 3.5mm jacks and USB connections that allow you to connect to more than one device at once. So 2 USB connections, so you can connect it directly to your PC, as I've done, for example, but also to another device like a console, and then switch between those 2 sources. With the 3.5mm jack, you can also then run in other audio sources into it and listen to those at the same time, and I'll get to that in a second. You'll see the control box allows you to switch between various EQ profiles and tweak sound settings in there. You can also do more of this within the SteelSeries Sonar software, which I've done a separate video on. You can control these settings either from the control box itself or via the headset. So you can see that you can go into the menus and then use the headset controls to adjust and tweak between these nice and easily. And obviously the headset includes volume controls, mic mute button, and more as well. So you've got basic controls across both of these. Now this is powerful, this little box, because it allows you to plug the 3.5mm cable into it and then into another device. I use Rodecaster Duo or Rodecaster Streamer X, for example, to then mic monitor an external XLR microphone really easily. This is wireless, so where the Maxwell, you'd have to plug it into the headset. Here you can plug it into the base station, and then you can easily listen to that audio source while still in wireless mode. This is really powerful because it allows you to put other things in. Even a USB microphone with a 3.5mm connection can go in that way. The other thing that makes this fantastic is the swappable batteries. So one battery in the headset, one in the base station. One is always on charge, the other one's in use. When the battery in the headset runs low, you simply take it out and then swap it with the one in the base station. If you're quick enough, you can do this without the headset turning off. And once you get this down into a fine art, you can then easily ensure that you basically never have to plug the headset in. This is obviously very beneficial and definitely a benefit over the Maxwell, which unfortunately doesn't have this option and will need to be plugged in at some point. So this is a seamless, endless battery life. Now, my complaint here is unfortunately when the battery gets low, you get an audible cue in the headset letting you know it's running low, but you really need to change the battery really quickly then, otherwise it will power off quite quickly. You don't get much warning before it happens, but you can see on the base station that there is a little indicator to let you know how much battery you have in either instance. Now you can, if you want to, plug a USB-C cable into the headset directly. This is useful for updating firmware, but if you need to for any reason, you can plug it in and charge it this way instead. Although that's not that great in terms of the design, because you'll take the ear cup off first. There is also a 3.5mm connection directly on the headset. So you get the 3.5mm cable and you can plug it into the headset itself instead of into the base station. And then you could plug that into something else. So if you wanted to plug it into a controller or some other device, then you can do this. So the Nova Pro wireless is a lot more flexible in terms of the connectivity and things you can connect to both directly on the headset and on the base station, and makes it more flexible in that way. The other thing is it also has Bluetooth connectivity, and this is seamless and much easier. So you just turn on the Bluetooth mode from the headset with a button on the side and pair with your device. And then once again, you can control it in the same way. So you can pause, play and skip music here quite easily. But you can also do this as well as having the wireless connectivity. So you can listen to audio from the base station and from Bluetooth at the same time. So you can mix in music to your gameplay, for example. And that's really easy to do. The Maxwell, unfortunately, doesn't allow for that. Now, in terms of the size and design of the headset, the Maxwell is superior. It stretches wider, it is bigger, it does have more flexibility, it does have larger ear cups. The floating headband is also a nicer quality perhaps, and you've got a nice bit of padding above that. So if you have a larger head and larger ears, you'll probably find this more comfortable. You can see that you can also remove and adjust the floating headband, so you can reposition it according to your own needs and your comfort. I find both of these comfortable, and they both offer a similar design there. So they both have that floating headband that can be tweaked and adjusted, which is pretty interesting. They've got a very similar design style to it. The headband on the Maxwell can't be extended beyond that though, so it doesn't actually stretch out any further beyond what the floating headband at the top allows for, which is a bit of a shame because the Nova Pro wireless does allow extension up and down. They both have very flexible designs in terms of how you can get them to fit on the head, and equally good clamping force though. You'll see that the headsets revolve and turn and the ear cups can move around really easily, but also the extension and the Nova Pro wireless here makes it a nice comfortable fit on the head. Now the Nova Pro wireless is interesting because it allows for various other things, including active noise cancellation, so it actually has microphones on the outside and the inside to block out external noise, and you can turn that on and off. The microphone is retractable and can easily be nestled away inside the headset, and it comes with a windshield. Now I will say you'll hear a mic test in a second, so you can make up your mind which you prefer, but both microphones obviously don't compare with an XLR or external microphone, which will naturally give you a better quality. Nova Pro wireless does have a little LED indicator on it though to let you know when it's muted, which is something that the Maxwell doesn't offer. So the Maxwell doesn't have that same flexibility in letting you know when you're muted easily, which is a shame. Now both headsets have removable ear cups. With the Maxwell you can easily twist them off and see underneath. Here you'll witness just how big the drivers are, because the Maxwell drivers are 90mm, which is huge, much bigger than the Nova Pro Wireless and bigger than most other headsets out there. Just to show you, if you put the USB-C dongle alongside them, you'll see just how they are in terms of the size. These mean that you get a much bigger sound, much louder potentially, so if you want your headset to be nice and loud, then that can work. Now you can upgrade the Maxwell headset with aftermarket ear cushions like these ones. There are various different options available from Dekoni, so if you don't like that faux leather material, you can get additional extra ones. These are like for like replacements that are a bit better quality with an elite design to them, but the fact is you can easily do this. So if you do find that the standard ear cushions wear out over time, or that you don't like them for whatever reasons, you can swap out. Now, this company actually sells velour versions as well as suede options too. They obviously won't deliver the same sort of passive noise cancellation, but you can see on the left, the aftermarket ear cushions, they have a bit more sort of padding to them. The memory foam cushioning is probably a bit more impressive, a little bit deeper perhaps as well. So if you don't like those ear cushions for any reason, you can swap them out. It's really easy to do because they just twist off and twist back on again. You'll also see this round design to the ear cups on the outer edge, but an ear shape on the inside. And I found that they cover the ear nicely and block out a lot of external noise really easily. So they've got some great passive noise cancellation, which actually becomes a bit of a problem because you need to use side tone to make sure that you can hear yourself when you're talking, because otherwise you might struggle with that because it blocks out enough of the surrounding noise. But this is also a good thing, obviously, because it allows you to focus on your game, to make the most of the EQ profiles, to make the most of listening to what you're trying to listen to rather than being distracted by the external environment. So this headset delivers in that area with that great passive noise cancellation, great comfort, and you're able to wear it for hours and hours. I understand, though, obviously, in some countries where it's very hot all the time, or even in the summer, you might suffer from getting hot ears with this design, or if you're just naturally very warm, then you might find this is a problem. However, really plush, really comfortable, and easy to wear. Now, the microphone is removable with ease, which is probably a good thing. If you're like me and you prefer to use an external mic, you can take it off. This also has beamforming microphones, though, so without that on there, you can use mics that are built into the headset. So the Maxwell has some interesting highlights there. There's also a mic mute button on the side, so you can easily mute, but no LED indicator. There is an audible cue inside the headset to let you know you're muted, but there's no external indication. And with side tone turned on, you can still hear yourself, which I think is a weird quirk. Like the Maxwell, the ear cushions on the Nova Pro Wireless can also be removed, although they are a little bit more fiddly. Now, this is the black version and the white version. They're both the same. Previously, historically, the original version of the Nova Pro Wireless had a little problem that I'll get to in a second. It's worth noting. You will see that these are a little bit more fiddly to remove as well. I actually did have to remove and upgrade the cushions on my original Nova Pro Wireless because they did wear out over time. There's something to note. Now, underneath, you'll see the drivers aren't as large as they are with the Maxwell. There's also a microphone built into here, which is for the active noise cancellation. So it'll pick up environmental noise and help to eliminate some of the sound from your surrounding environment, which is quite rare on a gaming headset and wonderful on this one. With the original Nova Pro Wireless, that internal mic was actually quite large and would stick into your ear and cause discomfort. You can see it here on the black one, which is the original release version. The newer microphone has actually been slimmed down on the newer white version and the newer black one. So if you get a model now, you probably won't have this problem, but historically it used to be an issue. There was a solution that you could buy aftermarket ear cushions, and these ones will allow you to get a bit more comfort from them with other options as well. You can see it's a bit more fiddly to put these on though, and a little bit more of a hassle to do so. So not quite as good there as with the Maxwell, not quite as flexible. But again, you have options in terms of the materials that you can put on there, and you do have the ability to do it if you want to, if you need to over time where the ear cushions have worn out. These ones are from Wicked Cushions and allow you to customize the look and feel. You'll see that they're deeper than the original ear cushions, which has some impact on the audio, but it does mean they're more comfortable as well. So if you find for some reason you don't like the standard ear cushions with the headset, you can just buy some aftermarket ones, and they're not very expensive. Wicked Cushions has a variety of different colors and materials available that you can customize the headset. So both can be upgraded and also enhanced if you want to, which is a nice addition here, and they have the option to do it as well. So both of the headsets have this feature. One of the reasons the Nova Pro wireless is superior is SteelSeries GG, which has Sonar built into it. I've done a separate guide on this, but Sonar opens up multiple virtual audio tracks and channels. This is useful if you're a streamer or content creator. You have game audio, music audio, chat audio, and other things. You can set this up in Discord with different virtual audio channels and in Windows. But most importantly, this gives you the ability to customize the audio for each of these things. You can also apply various different EQ profiles to them, even to the chat. You can adjust the levels in here that you hear and that stream hears. So if you're a streamer, you can use this to your advantage. It opens these up in Windows, as you can see here listed. So you've got gaming, streaming, mic audio, and various other things. The Maxwell doesn't do this in as much detail. You don't have as many virtual channels available to you. With the Nova Pro wireless, you can then take this into OBS. You can then put on multiple audio channels into your mixer. So you can see here I've got gaming, chat, and stream on separate channels, for example. And you can also put your mic in there. What this allows you to do is then to separate out these audio tracks, creating multi-track audio for your stream and for your gameplay clips. So for me personally, for example, I use it when recording gameplay footage for tips and tricks videos or for gaming videos for my gameplay channel, and this enables me to then separate those out. And you can see in the advanced audio properties, you can then put them onto separate tracks, and then when you're recording, they'll be separated out and you can tweak that accordingly. This is very handy if you've ever had problems with your friends talking over you when you're gaming, for example, and ruining your gameplay clips or just sort of muddying the audio there. It means that you can drag it into DaVinci Resolve or some other video editing software. You have multiple tracks in there. You can then tweak the levels and customize accordingly. This is very powerful, and obviously a specific use case. You're not necessarily going to want to do this, but if you are the sort of person that's creating content like this or wants to have this flexibility, then the Nova Pro wireless is the headset to go for, because you can't really do that easily with the Maxwell. Although technically SteelSeries GG does work with any headset, so you can, in theory, use the two together. So as you can see, lots of different things of interest about both these headsets. They're both very flexible and both offer very different highlights with great options and a variety of interesting features. But now let's get on to the mic test, because obviously that's going to be important too. So stick around to hear the difference between the two microphones. This is the SteelSeries Nova Pro wireless, and now, one thing I want to note is I'm not using GG for this. So this is the default sound settings from the microphone. Now, for the sake of fairness, I'm not going to do that right now, but I would recommend checking out the full review that I've done on this headset, where I talk about how you can use Sonar to tweak it, because with SteelSeries Sonar and GG, you can then use active noise cancellation and a variety of other settings to easily tweak the mic audio. You can also use that for EQ profiles for the game. It's well worth noting that, and I'd recommend looking at that in the review and in my separate guide on Sonar, because you can have different profiles for different games, and there's a lot more of them than there is with the Maxwell. Also, you can tweak the sound of your friends, so you can use the settings within Sonar to tweak your inbound settings for the mic audio from Discord, so that you can improve your friend's microphone as well. It's pretty nuts. But as you can hear, it's not an amazing microphone. It's a standard wireless microphone, and you'll hear there's a bit of wind noise. Obviously, I don't have the windshield on here, so that's not great, but that has a negative impact on it. But otherwise, it's not terrible, not amazing. Could be better, could be worse, but with some tweaks with Sonar, you can definitely improve it. And this is what the Maxwell sounds like. The Maxwell is interesting because it has hardware AI noise cancellation. So there is a button on the headset here that you can press to switch between various different modes, and this has quite a bit of an impact on it. So this is now with noise suppression low. So this is AI noise suppression, basically designed to block out external noise. Now this is going to vary depending on your environment and how much fan noise you've got from your PC or other noise from the air conditioners and other things. And if I switch into the higher mode, you'll hear just how much impact that has on that. Now I have found that the best audio for this is actually with it off completely. You get a much richer sound out of it, and I don't think it negatively impacts it too much. However, one of the problems I have had is with the side tone. So the big issue here is the side tone. To turn side tone on, you have to double tap on one of the buttons the dial, and that's done via the dial which goes between game audio and chat audio, so you have to double tap that to turn it on. You can adjust that with the apps as well, so both on PC and on your phone you can adjust the side tone on off, and it is pretty important to be able to hear yourself. But one downside is when you turn side tone on, you can then hear a basic crackle constantly, and that's there a lot of the time, which is a big downside to that. Now both microphones do have side tone, but there's definitely more mic noise via side tone inside the headphones with the Maxwell than there is with the Nova Pro wireless, in my opinion anyway. And it's quite distracting. The other thing that's weird about this is there's a mic mute button here. If I mute it, there's no indicator to let me know, as I've said. But the other thing is side tone carries on working, so you can hear yourself still even though the microphone's muted, which is weird. So it's not as user friendly, and that is generally the conclusion with these two headsets. The Maxwell, in my opinion, is not as user friendly. The user experience with it isn't as great. It isn't as easy, for example, to have two audio sources at once versus the Nova Pro wireless. The controls on it are a little bit more fiddly. You don't have as much flexibility in terms of the various EQ profiles and other things. But it is a very comfortable headset with really good audio, really good looking. If you are just a gamer and doesn't do any content creation, doesn't stream, doesn't want audio from other sources, are quite happy to use the microphone on the headset and don't mind plugging in occasionally for charge, then this is a fantastic headset and a great option. If you want more flexibility, multiple virtual audio tracks, the ability to connect to two wireless devices at the same time, to switch between USB devices using the base station, to never have to plug in, then the Nova Pro wireless is the better option. Don't forget to check out the links to the full reviews on both these headsets in the description, as well as the other videos I mentioned on SteelSeries GG, for example, and you'll see links down there to the aftermarket ear cushions that you can buy from both headsets as well. And hopefully this video has been helpful. I realise it's been quite long, but hopefully I've gone into a lot of depth and been useful to you. If I have, let me know in the comments down below what you think. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Thanks for watching.
You've made it right to the end of the video, you brilliant legend you. If you've enjoyed it, click that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and drop me a comment down below if you've got any questions. If you really enjoyed it, consider joining the channel and see the benefits of doing so. Check out these other videos. You might well find them interesting or useful, and most importantly, have a great life.